courts than thousands elsewhere. All right, nice and easy. Better is a one day in your courts. Better is a one day in your house. Better is a one day in your courts than thousands elsewhere. Better is a one day in your courts. Better is a one day in your house. Better is a one day in your courts than thousands elsewhere. We're giving you glory. All right, so everybody on soprano. Better is a one day. Better is a one
Walk it up.
day. Better is a one day.
Do it again.
Better is a one day. Better is a one
Walk it
day. Better is a one day.
Everybody on alto.
Better is one day. One day. One day.
Do that again. That was nice.
Better is one day. One day. One day.
Tenor.
Better is a one day in your courts. Better is a one day in your house. Better is a one day in your courts than thousands elsewhere. Better is a one day in your courts. Better is a one day in your house. Better is a one day in your courts than thousands elsewhere.
Thanks.
Better is one day.
Uh-huh.
Better is one day. 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 Better is
All right.
one day.
Better is a one day.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday to you all. Welcome back to ARP in the morning. I am your host, Wise Man, and I appreciate you guys pulling up and hanging out with me today. I appreciate you all, man. I really, really do. I really do. Happy Friday to each and every one of you guys. Every day is Friday for me. It's a blessing to be able to sit here, and have conversations and converse with you guys and just share some of the things that are on my mind. So it is truly a blessing. So every day is a Friday for me, to be honest with you. It really is. And it's such a blessing, man. Let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from, where you are watching this broadcast from, city, state, country. I love seeing it. I try my best to make sure that I show those, especially if you're, from some place that's, I'm just like, wow, you're watching from there? Wow. But shout out to Renee Suzanne, first in the chat this morning at 8:51 a.m. Shout out to you, sister. Appreciate you pulling up. Look at her. She jumped on her on purpose. Hey, this time I am first. Hilarious. Renee Suzanne, you are a mess. You are a mess and a half. Shout out to Scarlet Arrow family. Appreciate you pulling up this morning, brother. Appreciate you pulling up as well. What up, Redefined Queen? How you doing? PK Krillin. Appreciate you pulling up as well. Savannah, Tennessee in the building. What up, Christy? Chi-Town in the house. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Appreciate you. Christy, you got beat. You got beat this morning. What's up, John Q? How you doing this morning? Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I really do. Scott Young, appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Tina? How you doing? Big Job 4. Appreciate you pulling up. What up, Eric? What's going on, brother? Hope all is well down there in DC. You guys are probably getting what we're getting, man. It's raining. It's gonna be a little on the nastier side of things today, but it's supposed to let up by the morning tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow will be a lot better. What up, Thea's Flies High? Roscoe, New York in the house. Appreciate you pulling up. Donald Lovejoy, appreciate you pulling up this morning. Colorado in the house, appreciate you. Lori Otteson, appreciate you pulling up this morning. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Oh, Eric, we're going to talk about the kid in the yellow football jersey. We're going to talk about him. That's Austin Metcalf. We're definitely going to talk about him. That'll be the last story that we, discuss today. Today will be a call-in show. The Blues, please do not let me get out of here without opening it up and allow people to call in today. A lot of times I'll say it's a call-in show and then I'll go through and we're an hour and a half in and I just forget. Honestly, I just forget. And no one reminds me. So make sure that you remind me today is a call-in show. Today, I want to have people call in. I want to hear what's on your mind. If there's anything that you want to talk about, you want to ask me a question, you can talk about what we're going to talk about today, or you can ask or discuss anything that we've discussed this week if you've been watching all week. But I definitely appreciate the support. What's going on, Delinda? What's up, Zephyr K9? Appreciate you pulling up this morning, as always, keeping things civil in the chat. What's up, Larry Montgomery? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you pulling up. All right, who else we got up in here? Ace Brigade in the house. Appreciate you pulling up. Make sure I don't miss anybody in here. What up, Scott 8T8? Milwaukee in the house. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Ace Brigade out of Cincinnati. Yeah, they say raining for days. Yeah, it's raining out here. Not for days. It was actually nice out yesterday. Hot. I'm still kind of trying to get used to. I mean, this winter has been so bad. I'm trying to get used to the heat. Normally, we don't really hit this type of weather until a little after May, around here. So this is somewhat of a shock, that it's this warm this early into April. So let's see who else we got up in here. What's up, Regina? How you doing this morning, sister? West Virginia Wire in the house. West Virginia in the building. Appreciate you pulling up as always. Thank you very much. What's up, Brian M? Happy Friday to you. Appreciate you pulling up. Make sure I didn't miss anybody here. What's up, Dr. Silla? How you doing this morning, sister? Appreciate you pulling up. She said, I finally woke up on time to start the show. Thank you. God bless you. Appreciate you pulling up early. A lot of times, if you get on within, I don't know, 12 to 15 minute mark, I'm still doing this. I'm still showing love and shout outs. What up, Mama Joe's? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Billy W? How you doing this morning? What up, Reza Mahmood? Appreciate you pulling up this morning, brother. Appreciate you pulling up, as always. What up, Wendy? How you doing this morning? Wellsburg, New York in the house. Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you. Hey, Carol. How you doing this morning? Chi-Town in the house. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Douglas? Yes, America is great. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. What's up, Pam? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. Thank you very much. What up, Kenneth? How you doing this morning, brother? Thank you for the $2 super chat for the collection plate. Keep grinding, Brody. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much. True Texan, appreciate you pulling up this morning. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah, we got a good show today. We got a lot to get into, a lot to talk about, a lot to cover. Today will be a call-in show today, so I will open it up. I'll pin the link. You do not have to be on camera. I do ask that you keep YouTube, muted in the background when you get up here and talk, but you don't have to be on camera. If you want to be on camera and get a little bit of shine, you can do that as well. That works for me. Either way, it's all good. What up, Hobo Rob? How you doing this morning? Shirley Cummins, how you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. What up, Brenda Black? New York City in the building. Got Pam Westcott out of Michigan. We got Carl King out of Chicago. Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Tina? How you doing this morning? Virginia in the building. JJ O'Hara, appreciate you pulling up. Raleigh, North Carolina in the house. What up, RJ Hudson? South Carolina in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Mark? How you doing this morning? Wilmington, California. Doug Filing, driving truck in Ohio. Appreciate you. Be safe out there on the road. What up, Howard? How you doing this morning? Maryland in the building. All right. We got a few Marylanders in the house, man. Yeah, we're about to get crushed out here with these taxes, but you know, it is what it is. What's up, Scott? How you doing? We got Washington. Is it Washington, Utah? Okay. Appreciate you pulling up. What's up, Rebecca? How you doing this morning? Newchester, near Rochester, New York. Sorry about that. Marcus Tillman. We got Waldorf, Maryland in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Another Marylander. Oh, yeah. What's up, Marta? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. Shannon, appreciate you pulling up this morning. Shirley Cummins out of Pennsylvania, Beaver County. Appreciate you pulling up. What up, Ed? How you doing this morning? Ed Mar, Mississippi in the building. Dale City, Virginia in the building. Appreciate you pulling up. What's up, Lynn D? Another Chi-Town. Man, we got a lot of Chicago up in here. A lot of Chicago. What's up, Francis? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. What up, Kenny G? What's up with you, brother? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, EDH? Costa in the building. What's happening with you? Good morning to you. Happy Friday to you. What's up, Veronica? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. High Point, North Carolina in the building. All right. Oh, yeah. Hey, Angela, how you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. Billboard Bills, appreciate you pulling up this morning. We got Taxachusetts in the building. Oh, yeah. Man, we're a little scattered all over the place today, man. Scattered all over the place. What's up, Quincy James? How you doing this morning, brother? Appreciate you pulling up. Kenny Cooper, appreciate you pulling up. Be safe out there on the road, driving through Kansas. Appreciate you always pulling up. What's going on, Sean Cross? Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Good, my man. Appreciate you, man. And good morning to you. Happy Friday to you. Appreciate you pulling up. What up, Mark Galvin? How you doing this morning? Nashville in the building. What's going on with you? Appreciate you pulling up. What's up, Julie? How you doing this morning? Michigan in the building. Love the music intro to the show. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. All right, we're going to get the show started. Shout out to Sean Cross. He said, I meant good morning. Appreciate the $2 super chat. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. The number one way to support the channel and to support the show today is to hit that like button for me. But if you'd like to go the extra mile, you know, join the ARP family, or you can buy your man a coffee. That link's in the description box below. Super chats will stop the show. Super thanks will stop the show. Anybody that joins the ARP family during the live stream, they will it will stop the show. They will be acknowledged. Anybody that gifts an ARP family membership, that will be acknowledged as well. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the love. What's up, Toy Mafia? How you doing this morning? What up, Raymond? How you doing this morning? Love from out Arizona. Appreciate you pulling up. Julie C, Indiana in the building. Sylvia, how you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. Mr. Largy from New York. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you. Have a nice day. Titusville, Florida in the building. Appreciate you pulling up. Raleigh, North Carolina. What up, David? How you doing this morning? Go Air Force. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Air Force. Hey, we appreciate the services. We definitely do. We appreciate all the services. We know that, you know, I'm not going to talk bad about the Air Force today. I'm not going to do it. What up, Leonardo? How you doing this morning? Shout out to Nanny's Take on the World. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says here, thank you for your righteous perspective. Have a blessed day. Thank you, and you have a blessed day as well. God bless you. Appreciate you supporting the channel this morning. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Oh, we got Leonardo out of San Diego. We got a lot of Cali folks out here today. All right. Got you. Rebecca Camp says, all good. Just got to make sure that people don't think NYC when, if you say NY. Got you. I try to, I try to make sure that there is a differentiation between New York City and the rest of New York. So if somebody gives me, it just says New York, I'll just say you New York. But if you give me the state, or I'm sorry, the city to go along with that, we'll definitely make sure we shout that out as well. But shout out to Jesse Van, new ARP family membership, man. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. What's up, baby lungs? How you doing? Appreciate you pulling up. Burnsville, Minnesota in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Piggies Fly. Appreciate you pulling up this morning as well. Oh yeah. Hey, Kenneth, you got to go get you some of that mushroom coffee. Now, I will say there's a few brands out there that I'm not a big fan of, but I do like 10 mushroom coffee. 10 mushroom coffee, and that's 10 with the number 10, TEN. In my opinion, and I've tried a few, in my opinion, 10 is the best tasting. It has the least amount of calories in it. It's only 6 grams per serving of calories, but I like it a lot. It has a really rich coffee taste to it. There's a little Arabic coffee in there, and then it has, 10 different types of mushrooms. When you look at the back of it, it doesn't have a whole slew of ingredients. It tells you the mushrooms that's in it, and it tells you that there's a little bit of Arabic coffee, and then that's it. That's it. And I like that. I try to, when you're looking at these things and they got all this, all these other things that are in there, and you're like, I don't know if I want all of that. All right, let's get the show started. Like I said, man, happy Friday to you all. We got a packed show today. We are going to have a call in towards the end of the show. So let's get right into it, man. Make sure you guys hit that like button for me if you have not done so already. All right, let's get it.
Today are way down. The worst day is here because of the tariffs. So how's it going?
I think it's going very well. It was an operation, like when a patient gets operated on, and it's a big thing. I said this would exactly be the way it is. We have $6 or $7 trillion coming into our country, and we've never seen anything like it. The markets are going to boom, the stock is going to boom, the country is going to boom, and the rest of the world wants to see, is there any way they can make a deal? They've taken advantage of us for many, many years. For many years, we've been at the wrong side of the ball, and I'll tell you what, I think it's going to be unbelievable. The thing that people have to talk about, we're up almost to $7 trillion of investment coming into our country, and you'll see how it's going to turn out. Our country's going to boom.
All right, so shout out to Christy gifting 10 ARP family memberships. Thank you very much, Christy. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting me. And if you received one of those memberships, make sure y'all show Christy some love in the chat. Make sure y'all showing some love this morning in the chat. Please make sure you guys do that, man. That's awesome, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. All right, I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats or anything along those lines, but thank you very much. But hey, what we are witnessing right now, and I got a little bit of historical context to get into to add to this, but what we're witnessing right now is nothing short of a complete economic realignment or reset. I don't know what you want to call it. Realignment, reset, whichever word that you'd like to use, I'm okay with it. And it's catching the media, the Democrats, and even some Republicans completely off guard. Now, if you guys were here yesterday, I showed the video of President Trump. At the time, he was just, Donald Trump. He had an interview sit down with Oprah. And that interview, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was from like 1987 or 88 or something along those lines. And he was talking about these tariffs, and he was talking about how these countries have been ripping us off way back when. Think about that, man. That's over, at this point now, that's over what, 3 decades ago? 4 decades ago almost? Shout out to Francis L. Smart joining the ARP family. Thank you very much, man. God bless you. Appreciate you supporting the channel. But he was this is not a new phenomenon when it comes to Donald J. Trump, or now, today, President Donald J. Trump. This is not a new phenomenon. And, a lot of the old guard, legacy media, a lot of the Republicans, they just don't understand it. And frankly, I don't believe that they ever saw it coming. President Trump, he just pulled off what may go down as the biggest economic operation in modern American history. Think of it like a surgical strike. Not just a few tariffs here and there, but a full-blown economic war on the globalist systems that's been draining Americans and draining American workers for decades. And this time, the goal isn't appeasement, it's dominance. And here's the play. Any country that slaps a tariff on our products, they're getting hit with equal or higher tariffs to access the American market, which, I gotta say again, is the most robust economy in the world. Everybody wants to do business here. Everybody wants to do business here. We should also have the ability to do business all around the world. But other countries out there, they've been blocking us. They've been crushing us with tariffs as high as 300% from some nations out there. So if you want to do business here, you get no more freebies. There's no more loopholes. If you want to access our economy, you either play fair or you pay up. Simple as that. Simple as that. And here's what that really means. What that means is that jobs are coming back to America. Manufacturing is coming back to America. The middle class is going to make a significant comeback in America. Think about this, man. For over 40 years, globalism, it's hollowed out our industry. We ship jobs to China, flooded shelves with cheap imports, and told working class Americans to either learn the code or get left behind. That's not the case anymore. That's not the case anymore. And as Stephen Miller said, this is the great reshoring. We're rebuilding factories, restoring infrastructure. And yes, we may pay a little bit for it, a little more now, but this will benefit us in the long term. We're building a stronger, safer, more self-reliant economy. And honestly, it's just kind of funny watching the left meltdown over it, because not that long ago, they were saying the exact same things. Not long ago, these people were saying the exact same things.
Does China have to go? How much more repression? How big a trade deficit and loss of jobs for the American worker? And how much more dangerous proliferation has to exist before members of this House of Representatives will say, I will not endorse the status quo? As I mentioned, it's about jobs, proliferation, and human rights. And there are those who say we shouldn't link human rights and trade and proliferation and trade. I disagree. But if we just want to take up this issue on the basis of economics alone, indeed, China should not receive most favored nation status for several reasons that I'd like to go into now. I'd like to call the attention of our colleagues to this chart on the status quo that the business community is asking each and every one of us to endorse today. Right now, we have a $34 billion trade deficit with China, the 1995 figure. It will be over $40 billion for 1996. Since the Tiananmen Square massacre, this figure has increased 1,000%, from $3.5 billion then to about $34 billion now. In terms of tariffs, I think it's interesting to note that the average U.S. MFN tariff on Chinese goods coming into the United States is 2%, whereas the average Chinese MFN tariff on U.S. goods going into China is 35%. Is that reciprocal? On exports, China only allows certain industries into China, of U.S. Industries into China, and therefore only 2% of U.S. exports are allowed into China. On the other hand, the U.S. allows China to flood our markets with a third of their exports, and that'll probably go over 40%. And it's limitless because we have not placed any restriction. In terms of jobs, this is the biggest and cruelest hoax of all. Not only do we not have market access, not only do they have prohibitive tariffs, not only are our exports not let in very specifically, but China benefits with at least 10 million jobs from U.S.-China trade. The president in his statement requesting this special waiver said that China trade supports 170,000 jobs in the United States, 170,000 jobs, whereas our imports from China support 10 million jobs at least. Fact is that U.S.-China trade is a job loser. And
you heard it right there. Shout out to Wade's Mustang Garage joining the ARP family. Thank you very much. God bless you. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. But y'all heard it right there. Y'all heard it right there. It is incredible. Put a 1 in the chat if this is the first time that y'all have ever seen that clip right there. Put a 1 in the chat if this is the first time y'all ever heard Nancy Pelosi say what she just said. Yesterday, we talked about this. China, and this is just dating back to 2001. We're not even going to go back to the 90s. We're not going to go back. We're not going to go back into the 90s. China has stolen over 3 million jobs from Americans. And this is just dating back to 2001. At some point, somebody has to step up and say, okay, we got to stop this. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. At some point. I mean, honestly, man, it's incredible seeing them support the opposite of what they support now. It's incredible. What changed? Seriously, what changed? And it's not just Nancy Pelosi. Take a look at what Senator Bernie Sanders had to say about this, about the tariffs back in 2008. You guys got to see this, man. These people are hypocrites, to say the least. That might actually be just being nice to call them hypocrites. We probably should call them some other things.
What they have said is that we need to not worry about manufacturing in America, because what we should establish is a policy of unfettered free trade. We don't need tariffs. What we need is to allow corporate America the freedom to throw American workers out on the street, people who are making 15, 20, 25 bucks an hour, healthcare, pensions, throw them out on the street, because somehow, Madam President, we are going to create wealth in America and good paying jobs in America as we shut down plants. We move to China, corporations there pay workers 20, 30 cents an hour, and we bring the product back into this country. And anyone who goes shopping in a mall knows how difficult it is today to find the product made in America. But that is the philosophy. And I have to say, in that regard, the champion, and he is honest on this one. Senator McCain has been criticized recently for not being the most honest candidate we have seen in terms of his ads and so forth. He has been honest on this one. He is the lead advocate of unfettered free trade. And that's an also important part of this right-wing ideology, that it is good for America that corporations can go to China and bring products back into this country.
Sounds a whole heck of a lot like Trump, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Sounds a whole heck of a lot like President Donald J. Trump right now. And here's the thing. This isn't new. This isn't some new phenomenon. It just isn't. Back in the 90s, even Democrats supported these ideas before the Trump derangement syndrome scrambled all their thinking. They admitted that China was exploiting our open market, stealing jobs, and giving us nothing in return. They admitted it. They knew it. But now they call it dangerous, simply because Trump's the one leading the charge. And here's what they're missing, and it's huge. This isn't just about tariffs. It's about laying the groundwork for an American manufacturing renaissance powered by AI and automation. See, globalism was built on the lie that cheap foreign labor made it impossible for the U.S. to compete. But with AI, the game changes. We can now build right here at home, faster, smarter, and more efficient, without relying on slave wage labor overseas. And it gets even better. It gets even better. So they want to fearmonger you about AI, but AI doesn't kill blue collar jobs. It doesn't. It transforms them. You still need electricians, welders, engineers, and techs to build and maintain these systems. These are high skill, high paying jobs. And that's exactly who Trump's fighting for. The working class Americans, or the American working class, however you want to say it, that both parties have ignored for decades. This is going to help them. Now, people will say, oh, these jobs is AI and this and the third, they're technical. Yeah, of course. As we get more technologically advanced, the jobs are going to change. That's just what it is. The jobs are going to change. The key is that, do you see the future, and are you going to gain the skill set needed to go in there and compete in the marketplace? That is the question. Are you going to gain the skill sets? Are you going to push your children and your grandchildren to gain the skill sets needed to go and compete in the marketplace? Because you got to think, man, jobs that existed in the 40s and 50s, they're no longer here anymore. A large amount of them. And they changed, they changed in the 60s and 70s, and then it changed again in the 80s, and then it changed again in the 90s. And we're going to continue to see this as we continue to evolve. The left, they hate this. They hate it because it's working. Wall Street isn't scared of inflation. They're scared of a consumer shift. If Americans buy less, profits drop. That's not inflation. That's a market correction. And ironically, it might push the Fed to lower interest rates, leading to cheaper borrowing, lower mortgages, and lower energy costs through deregulation. And let's not forget, just last year, Biden's own Treasury Secretary went on live TV and said tariffs on retail goods wouldn't raise prices for consumers. But now, suddenly, it's economic Armageddon. So what changed? What changed? Only one thing. Trump's back in the fight. And the establishment is terrified that he might actually win. You're terrified.
And there have been some experts, some groups, the National Retail Federation among them, who've expressed concerns that it will be U.S. consumers who eventually end up paying for these tariffs. As you know, polling shows that rising prices are voters' biggest concern right now. So I'd ask you to speak directly to them. Will American consumers bear the cost of these tariffs?
I don't believe that American consumers will see any meaningful increase in the prices that they face.
But I'll say this. This also puts Americans in a position to where you get to make a choice. Do you support American-made, American companies and American industry and pay maybe a little lower? Or do you want to continue supporting products that are made in other countries? Simple as that. Okay, so a year ago, tariffs weren't going to increase prices, and now there's no way that they aren't going to increase prices. Which one is it? Which one is it? They're fear-mongering so hard about grocery prices going up for a week, completely ignoring the fact that Democrats spent trillions of dollars and printed money like monopoly cash with no accountability and got a free pass from the press while doing it. Trump's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick went on CNN to talk about this just last night. Let's take a listen to what he had to say about this.
Donald Trump fix the American economy.
But just to follow up with you, when the first time he did tariffs, we did see prices rise on products that were tariffed. That's according to Goldman Sachs compared to non-tariff products.
We had the lowest inflation ever.
The manufacturing sector went into a mild recession in the fall of 2019. What gives you so much certainty? And by the way, this is more aggressive and the economy is in a different place with inflation and consumer sentiment. What gives you so much certainty that this is going to work and that this isn't going to hurt the everyday American?
The largest tariff and trade barrier country in the world is China. And they don't have inflation. So these things don't occur the way people suggest they do. This is a reordering of global trade for the benefit of America. These people have all been living in our house. They've been driving our car. They come by and visit, open our fridge and eat our food whenever they want. They've taken advantage of us. Today was the day of the beginning of saying, I'm sorry, you can't just live for free off of us. You have to pay. And what's going to happen is the United States of America will get stronger. Our economy will grow much, much faster than the rest of the world.
All right,
right? If you were
hold on
going
one
to
second. We
say
have to get
where
a break
we're
in.
going,
You're not going anywhere because we're going to continue
where we're
this
going is
conversation.
our markets are going to be up. And I understand that it's tough for the global markets, but our market, you should be betting on Donald Trump and the United States market. We are going to do much, much better.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's be clear. The plan is bold. It's a complete reordering of global trade. It is. And no, it won't be perfect. There will be pushback. There will be some short-term resistance. But if it works, and I believe that it will, it could go down as the biggest win for working class Americans in our lifetime. And the thing is this. We have to try something. That's what I don't understand with these people. We have to try something. We cannot keep operating the way that we've been operating in this nation. We just can't. We can't keep operating the way that we've been operating. Democrats' only plan to increase revenue is to tax you and I more. Outside of that, they don't have a solution. Their goal is we got to make people that make a little bit of cheese pay their fair share, pay more. Jasmine Crockett got out there and said, "Oh, we just need to increase revenue." And she is right. But they wasn't talking about increasing tariffs on countries that want to do business in our nation. They were talking about raising your taxes. They were talking about taking more money out of your pockets. I mean, they're talking about prices going up. Did we not just deal with 29% inflation? The price of everything had gone up under this last administration. And they didn't have a solution on how to solve it, how to fix it. This isn't just about inflation. It's about ending global freeloading. That's what this is about. From 1789 to 1913, America didn't run on income taxes. It ran on tariffs. Let me rewind that. Let me replay that. Let me re-say that. Let me restate that. From 1789 to 1913, America did not run on income tax. The country made its revenue on tariffs. You want to sell products in our country? You want to do business in our nation? It's going to cost you. America did not tax its citizens into oblivion. It didn't happen. So let me say it again. From 1789 to 1913, America did not run on income taxes. It ran on tariffs. We tax foreign countries for access to our markets, not hardworking Americans for earning a daggone paycheck. And guess what? At that time, the country was booming. Trump wants to bring us back to a model that makes complete sense for everybody in this country, anyway. He wants to take us back to that model. And if he pulls it off, we could see something incredible. A future where the IRS is replaced and your income stays in your hands. Government funded government funded by trade, not by draining your wallet, not by punishing you for working your tail off, creating a product, providing a service, making more money. I mean, think about that. We live in a country right now that will punish you. They will take more money from you because you decided to do the right things. You decided to gain a skill that's in demand. You decided to provide a service that's in demand. You decided to risk your hard-earned money, your equity on your house to start a business, and it blew up. We live in a country that will punish you for working your tail off and doing the right thing. That's not a fantasy, man. It's a plan. It's a plan. And the establishment is terrified because it could actually work. Now, answer this question. Answer this question right here. Why is it that the Democrats, they want to keep taxing the heck out of you? I don't know if you guys know it, but down in Florida, they're trying to figure out a way to eliminate property tax down in Florida. When you get your house paid for, you pay no tax on it, you own the property. They're trying to figure that out. You got Democrats fighting tooth and nail down there saying that this shouldn't be done, it can't be done, we shouldn't do it. So when you see Wall Street panicking, the media spinning, and Democrats warning of an economic collapse, just remember, they're not worried about you. They're worried about losing control. This isn't the Great Reset. This isn't the Great Reset, the World Economic Forum dreamed of. This isn't that. This is Trump's Great Reset. And it's putting Americans first. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. And speaking of resets, let's get into some breaking news coming out of New York City because something very strange is happening up there in the Big Apple. Something very strange is happening up there. Let's get into that.
Well, New Yorkers, like so many of you, I grew up in a city that failed my family. My mother raised 6 children on her own, working 3 jobs. Yet, even when her hard work was met with injustice and indignity, she soldiered on. She believed in New York. She taught me that you can never do wrong by doing right. That resilient spirit is the essence of New York. And her example and the grit of everyday New Yorkers is what inspired me to public service and what gives me strength today. It's a simple truth. New Yorkers are strong and they deserve strong leadership. And when New Yorkers worry about their bills at the kitchen table or feel unsafe on a subway platform, they don't expect a political party to help. They want leadership from a person who understands their struggle and their story. There isn't a liberal or conservative way to fix New York, but there is a right way and a wrong way. And true leaders don't just know the right path, they have the guts to take it. I've always put New York's people before politics and party, and I always will. Some leaders choose rhetoric over results and fail to make working people their North Star. But the values of a working class base, pro-public safety, pro-worker, pro-quality of life, are still there, standing strong, even if many who share them have left the party. Those are my values, New York's values, and I will always fight for them. I had hoped to fight for them again in the Democratic primary for mayor. And more than 25,000 New Yorkers signed my Democratic primary petition. But the dismissal of the bogus case against me dragged on too long, making it impossible to mount a primary campaign while these false accusations were held over me. But I'm not a quitter. I'm a New Yorker. And that is why today, although I am still a Democrat, I am announcing that I will forego the Democratic primary for mayor and appeal directly to all New Yorkers as an independent candidate in the general election. I firmly believe.
Wow. 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 So Mayor Eric Adams just threw a political curveball. Political curveball. I mean, he's dropping out of the Democratic primary and launching a run for re-election as an independent candidate. Wow. Now, Adams, as he stated, he said I hadn't officially left the Democratic Party, but he's made it obvious that he is fed up with these people. And frankly, after watching his journey over the past year, honestly, I don't blame him. I'm sure you guys can't blame him for going this route. I'm sure you can't. I don't know if I would want to be in a party that tried to throw me in prison for stepping out of line on a single issue. You know, that's what that was about. They came after that guy with everything that they had because he was fed up with this illegal immigration situation they got going on up there. And I get it. I know some of you guys in the comment section, you know, y'all don't care for Eric Adams. And to be honest with you, I don't necessarily care a whole lot about him, but I felt like it was definitely worth discussing because you're starting to see more and more people defect from the Democrat Party. Eric Adams might be one of the biggest names to defect from the Democrat Party. And I know he said, you know, verbally, hey, I'm still a Democrat, but on paper, I am an independent. It's interesting. It's interesting, to say the least. I mean, he says that New York politics, you know, New York politics has been stonewalling him since day one. And in his own words, the explanation lies in a book, you know, he's now recommending to every New Yorker called Government Gangsters by Cash Patel. Hey, I don't know, man. Government Gangsters.
And New Yorkers stop me all the time in trying to find the rationale behind this. And I found it in this book. I'm going to encourage every New Yorker to read it. And New Yorkers stop me all the time in trying to find the rationale behind this. And I found it in this book. I'm going to.
Government Gangsters, written by Cash Patel. Who in the chat has read this book? I haven't read it. I don't know if I want to read it. My queue list on reading books is pretty long right now. But if you have read it, let me know in the chat. So we're literally watching the city fall apart. And the infrastructure is completely overwhelmed with illegal aliens. And that's what has him speaking out his concerns. Now, what we do know is that we found out that Cuomo is running for mayor. And I would assume that that played a role in it, played a role in him saying, you know what, I'm going to go independent. Now, with him going independent, running against Cuomo, does he have a chance to win? I don't know. Probably not. You would assume that Cuomo is going to get majority of the large donor class money. You would assume. But for Eric Adams, speaking out, it got him highlighted and it got him targeted. And now he's waking up to the reality of what the Democrats in power have become. Or this could also be just a classic deflection, you know, blaming the establishment instead of owning up to his own failures. But one thing is clear. I can see a good amount of Democrats jumping ship because they can't take the chaos within their own party. I can see more moderates starting to push back because people are opening their eyes. Adams is too. Maybe his eyes has already been open. He had his Democrat wake up call. He's been opening up in interviews, calling out his own parties with the obsession with Trump as blinding and irrational. He's been calling out the Trump derangement syndrome. Now we know that he's not MAGA. We understand that. He's far from it. But he's been saying things that most Democrats won't even touch with a 10-foot pole. He's been willing to say some of these things.
At your like political career.
Oh, and it hurts.
And is it frustrating to not, or do you know who you think it came from? Like, is Biden aware of this, or is it the people that are like underneath Biden? Is it completely separate?
That's a great question. That's a great question. You know, there are a lot of people, you know, and I don't want to sound conspiracy theory, but there's a permanent government. There are people that see presidents and mayors come and go. Their attitudes will wait you out. You know what book is a great book, man? Everybody should read the book, Cash Patel's Government Gangsters.
Okay.
You should him on the pod.
Yeah, you should read that book, man.
Okay.
Cash breaks this down.
What is he? And is this what
he's now the FBI director?
Of course, we love Cash.
Yeah.
But is this like what people refer to? And I think this word has been used too much, but like the deep state or whatever it is.
It's not used too much. It's real, brother.
Oh, really?
It's, brother, think about it.
Who's part of it? Like, what are there current like senators and that kind of stuff, or is it people that we don't even know but they're always existing?
You know, I have never seen anyone do such a good job of defining that deep state. You should have him on.
I would. Tell him to come on.
You should have him on.
We would love it.
The way he's
probably listening right now, right?
The way, because he was in. It's like me talking about what happens in NYPD after 22 years.
Yeah.
Cash was in the DOD. He was in the FBI. He prosecuted terrorists. So he comes with this wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
And the way he breaks it down,
yeah,
it's just unbelievable what this deep state is about and why it's so important for Americans that we cannot have a weaponizing of our prosecutorial powers. Now imagine the Southern District, right? Southern District of New York. That's one of the most powerful U.S. Attorney's office. In their mind, they say we're sovereign. You know what that means?
What do you mean they said they're sovereign?
That they don't have to answer to anyone.
Oh.
They don't have to answer to the president. They don't have to answer to the U.S. Attorney in Washington, the Attorney General in Washington. They believe they're a sovereign entity. You're not elected. You know what I'm saying? Imagine an entity believing they don't have to answer to anyone but
you
their
have to answer to the people, and ultimately the people that we put in power.
All right, Quincy, take care, brother. Enjoy the weekend, man. And there you have it. There you have it right there. And he's probably not wrong. How did we get to a point in this country where the bureaucrats running the country without the bureaucrats running the country don't have any responsibility to the people? Now, what he's saying, it could be, you know, conspiratorial. It could be. But Adams is convinced that behind the scenes, there is a permanent government, a deep-rooted power structure. And if there's anything that we've learned over the past couple of years, it's that it seems like it could be true. Seems like it could be true, but that's not all. Adams continues to tell Andrew Schultz that the Trump derangement syndrome is real. But we all know it's real. We've been watching it for, you know, the better part of 7-8 years now. It's real. Shout out to Kenny Cooper with the $4.99 super chat. I never really cared for Eric Adams, but hey, anyone can change, just saying. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But then again, I think it could be one of those things that he actually found himself in the belly of the beast. And he's like, wait, time out. I heard about these things. I kind of brushed it off, didn't think it was true until they came for him. And then he realized, like, wait, hold up. This is real.
is, I keep saying this and people don't like it. They get upset. You know, the Trump derangement syndrome is real.
Yeah.
You can hate someone so much that even if they do something
You're
right,
blind to it.
right.
Yeah.
You know that? And you can like or dislike Elon, but you don't have any right blowing up someone's Tesla.
Right. Exactly.
You don't have any
breaking the law.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, who do you
Simple as
think
that.
you are?
Yeah.
You know, you don't have any right going in and destroying.
They drew a dick on his Tesla.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. By the way, that was
You understand what
I
I'm
shouldn't have
saying?
did that.
A white dick too, small.
Yeah. Small white dick.
But think about that.
Now, to be fair,
They should get 40 years.
but yeah, so that does happen.
That's the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
When you say, okay, I'm upset that you are doing Doge and you're closing down jobs, but you know what? You should close down Tesla. What about those people that work there?
Dude, I literally said that I was on this guy's podcast and I was like, listen, I totally understand you, Theo Vaughn's podcast, and I was like, I totally understand that, like, you people who are critical of Elon, there's reasons to be critical. Everybody should have the freedom to be critical, right?
Right.
And I go, but hoping that Tesla shuts down.
Right.
Like, I understand you're upset that people lost jobs. It doesn't improve the situation if you make more people lose jobs.
Right.
It is
He's
an
the
American
richest
car
guy.
company.
Right.
Yeah, he's the richest guy in the world. He's going to be okay.
Right.
He's not the one hurt.
Right.
The people
Right.
that work there. So you're upset these people lost jobs. You're like, I know the solution. More people lose jobs.
Think about it.
Yeah. He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. The left's selective outrage is ridiculous. And when a Tesla plant closes, they cry foul. But when Elon Musk gets attacked for his politics and American workers lose jobs in the process, they cheer. I just don't understand that type of logic, man. I don't. And Adams, he isn't buying it anymore. And speaking of hypocrisy, let's talk about the Justice Department for a quick second. The same DOJ that labeled concerned parents domestic terrorists. Y'all remember them? They're the ones who just dropped Adams' case, with prejudice. And that means that it's over, it's done, can't be reopened. So no, Adams isn't under Trump's thumb. He's not being blackmailed and there's no backroom deal. He's doing this on his own. Again, he has been in the belly of the beast and he got a chance to see it for himself. He got a chance to see it for himself. And he is out here sharing what he knows, and he's doing this on his own. And it matters. Because what he's doing, it could possibly blow up his race. It could. What he's doing could possibly blow up this race. In New York's ranked choice system, anything can happen. Back in 2021, Andrew Yang was leading until Adams came from behind and took it over. And this time, Cuomo's the front runner. But now Adams, running as an independent in the general, and let's be real, it could be a situation where he's not even trying to win. This could just be a full-fledged, sabotage. And if he can pull 10 to 15% of the Democrat vote, he could tank Cuomo's candidacy or whoever else wins the primary. I mean, we assume that it's going to be Cuomo, right? That's what we assume. We assume it's going to be Cuomo. And that could open the door for someone like Republican Curtis Sliwa. It could. Now, we all know Sliwa, he lost bad in 2021, but Republicans have won in New York before. Giuliani wasn't a fluke. And in a fractured race, it doesn't take 50% to win, just more than the rest. So if Adams runs as an independent, Cuomo running as a Democrat, and you got Sliwa running as a Republican, you would assume that, Adams, realistically, could he get 10, 15, 20% of the vote out there and take some of that from Cuomo? Highly probable. And that's what makes this race and this situation even more fascinating. Adams is still technically a Democrat, but he is running a scorched earth campaign against his own party right now. And this isn't just a protest. This is payback. And if this, was about clearing his name maybe he would have walked away already quietly, but instead he is staying in a race to drag the nominee down with him. Now, Adams isn't suddenly a conservative hero. He's not. We know this. He's still entirely too progressive for that. Entirely too progressive for that. But as a political weapon, he could be dangerous, definitely be effective. So don't underestimate this. I mean, he's not running to lead. I don't even think he's running to win. He's running to settle scores. He's running to basically throw a daggone nuke in the Democratic into the Democrat primary, and just to the Democrat Party in itself, because he knows that he could probably siphon off 10, 15, maybe even 20% of the vote from Cuomo. And if he's able to take out Cuomo or hands the race to a Republican, that would be a political earthquake. And we'll be watching, because this might just be one of the wildest mayoral races in New York City history. We'll be watching. We'll be watching. And last but not least, definitely not least, this is hard to talk. It's going to be hard to discuss. It really is. I want to talk about something that's just absolutely heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking, man. But we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it, man. You guys seen the thumbnail, the young man that's, in the football uniform. It's a high school kid, out of Texas, Frisco, Texas. A student, and we got to say it, I know you guys don't like it, but a student was unalived in a stabbing at a North Texas track meet. And unfortunately, you have a lot of liberals out here crying racism over the backlash. I just don't understand that. I don't. Some of you guys may be new to the story. Some of you guys have heard the story before. But, there was a teenager, young dude, Carmelo Anthony, go figure. And I'm not talking about the basketball player, Carmelo Anthony, but, young black kid, 17 years old, Carmelo Anthony. Did something just heinous and horrendous to another young 17-year-old man, Austin Metcalf, rising football star from Frisco, Texas. And the details of why this happened is still somewhat murky, because I've heard a lot of things on social media. I've heard that this was about a phone. I heard that, this was maybe a situation over a girl. The narrative, another narrative that's out there is that, this young man, Anthony, decided to sit in Austin's team section. And if you guys know anything about track and field, if you know anything about just sports in general, especially sports, if you know anything about that, man, people are very, very territorial. They really are. At every school, at a track meet, they have their own tent. They have their own section. And you don't just roll up and sit, with the other team like that. You just don't do something like that. And everyone knows it. It's a sign of disrespect. It's a sign of, it's baiting. It's someone that's looking for some trouble. And when Austin or one of his teammates asked the kid, what he was doing there, allegedly the kid got mouthy and things escalated from there. Austin's twin brother said that Carmelo opened his backpack and told him something like, make me move, touch me and see what happens. It was one of those types of things. And next thing you know, young Austin was, stabbed in the chest, stabbed directly in the heart and bleeding out in his brother's arms. And this is sad, man. It really is. It's so senseless. 2 people lost their lives that day. 2 people lost their lives that day. You got a young man that's being buried, had a lot to live for, 4.0 student, and you got another young man that's about to be buried in the penitentiary. He's never going to see the light of day, being charged as an adult for something so senseless. It's really sad, man.
Just doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's just because the kid was mad, my son is not here anymore, and I don't understand it.
He's a good kid. We just got a little altercation, and that's really it. But he has a good heart. Everyone knows. Everyone around here knows he's a great kid. He just one mistake from that dude, and just took my brother. He didn't deserve it. No one deserves a loss from a family like that. I know people that lose their family members all the time, but I just didn't know it's gonna be mine so soon. I'm my best friend and my brother my whole life, but there was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So
Yeah.
just that's just what I saw. And I tried to help him, but
It was just senseless.
it was really senseless. Really, I don't know why a person would do that to someone just over that little argument. It's just crazy in this world nowadays how people just up and do that. Like that man has a family. That man has people that care about them all the time, and he did everything for our family too. He was a strong man. He was a strong kid. He was strong.
This is sad, man. Sad. So many questions. So many questions. Why was this youngin' carrying a weapon at a school event in the first place? And Austin's brother, his twin brother, his name's Hunter. I mean, even in an altercation like this, most people just brush it off. Most. Maybe, exchange words. Some people may get a teacher, and at that point, it's probably getting a coach. But instead, this young man pulled out a knife. He pulled out a knife. This is sad, man. It really is. Losing a twin brother, losing a sibling, period. I feel really, really sorry. I feel really, really bad. My heart breaks for his family, for his parents. Never in a million years does the thought cross your mind that you're going to be burying one of your children. Never in a million years. I have two young men, 23 and 18, man, and I just can't even imagine the heartache, the anguish that the parents are dealing with. I can't. I can't. It's really sad, man. He had to hold his brother as he passed away. I mean, these two, man, they were born 4 minutes apart. I'm for certain that they were, inseparable, playing sports, doing chores, probably doing everything together. Probably know each other's thoughts. And now this young man has to wake up every day knowing that he couldn't do anything to save his brother. Knowing that in a flash, his world was shattered by, something that should have never happened. But here's where the tragedy becomes even more tragic. Instead of the country, uniting to, condemn this brutal act, we're watching some in media, others on social media, trying to water it down. You got excuses starting to pour in. People were talking, things along the lines of, maybe the kid, who stabbed him, maybe he came from poverty. We need to talk about inequality, those types of things. What if he didn't know any better? He's 17. He knows better. I mean, I saw some comments over on TikTok saying that he may have felt threatened or, and I got to show you guys this. Hold up a second. I want to show you guys this. Hold up. If I can find it. I want to share this with you guys. Give me 1 second here. It's so sad, man. I don't know if you guys can see it. I want to see if I can I blow this up a little bit. I just want to look at some of these comments here. The comments is just outrageous. And there are some positive comments there. As you can see, you got a lot of people saying, why y'all not saying, Carmelo's GPA and his accomplishments, I can't stand y'all. If he was defending himself, yeah, it's some really crazy stuff, but I don't know if I can find it. I couldn't find it, but we haven't heard anything from Carmelo's parents yet. I don't know if they will come out. But somebody said something along the lines of, if you're black, you understand why protection is needed at a Texas high school sporting event. It gets very Jim Crow era there. That's what somebody said in this comment section. I could not find it. But it's really, it's just, man, there's some vile people on the internet, man. And I get it. If you guys are on X, we were talking about this yesterday. You got a lot of internet gangsters, on X. As well as on TikTok, that hide behind and say some of the most vile things, in the comment section. But this has to stop, man. This has to stop. Exactly, Theo. Somebody brought up Jim Crow in this situation here. It just didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me. I just like, y'all are reaching. Why can't y'all just say, hey, this young man operating off emotions made a horrible decision. But this has to stop, man. This wasn't about economics. This wasn't about injustice. This is about a young man who escalated a petty dispute into a fatal one. That's what this is about. This is someone who got emotional, knew they had a weapon, and decided that they were going to escalate this. He could have walked away. He wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. He could have walked away. He could have. This is about someone who carried a weapon. He also, they say he had a track record of aggression, and he made a deadly choice. There are millions of poor kids in America, millions of them. And the vast majority of them, don't do this. They don't do this when they feel disrespected. The majority. We're failing our kids, and not because, we don't hand them out enough money. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're not holding people accountable. We excuse bad behavior. We've lowered the standards across the board. And when tragedy strikes, we just shrug it and say, well, maybe society failed him. No, he failed. And he must be held responsible. He failed. He must be held responsible. I want to share something with you guys before we keep going. And I want to see if I can pull it up. And hopefully I can find it real quick. Y'all bear with me. Oh, man. Bear with me here. Give me 1 second. I want to pull something up, man. It's something it's really profound. Really profound. And if I can find it real fast, I want to share this with you guys because it's right in line with this story and this young man, Carmela. And if I can, hopefully I can find it real fast. Give me 1 second. Give me a second, guys. Oh, man, hopefully. If I can't find it, I'll just tell you the story. Oh, I found it. I got it. Sorry, guys. Appreciate you guys bearing with me. But give me 1 second.
I had this one old cat. My cell, I was in the cell by.
This story, it's about a 4-minute story, but I want to share this with you guys, and then we'll keep the show moving. But these are those kind of stories that some of these young people, man, they need to hear.
I had this one old cat. My cell, I was in the cell by myself, and he just came from the hole. He was arguing with a guard, old school. He come into my cell, all he had was a box and a typewriter. And all he used to do was law work, and he used to do these crossword puzzles all the time on the top bunk. And one day, I walked in the cell from the yard, and he was like, "How many minutes, youngin'? How many minutes was it?" I ain't paying him no attention. He was doing life. But you'll never think he was doing life because he was just a solid OG, just mind his business. And I said, "Minutes? I'm at the sink washing my hands. I'm just coming from the yard." He said, "How many minutes, man?" I said, "I give you probably like 3, 4. I said, "Minutes for what?" I don't know what the fuck. It's OG. I don't know what he talking about, but it's coming off deep. He said, "How many minutes did it take? You know what I mean? For you to get your residency here." I said, "What you mean, man? Fucking residency." He said, How many minutes did you take to earn this, to stay? You stay. The fuck is you talking about? Minutes. So he said, you got your law? I said, "Yeah, I got my law work." I'm like, "Man." He said, "Let me show you something. So I go. He said, where your case? I show him my case. He said, okay. You see these two? He said, this the police report and this the police report. He took both of my police reports and he said, okay, you robbed the joint at this time? They say you was in there for that long? Or you robbed this joint for this time? They say you was in there that long. He said, that's like, each of them is like 2.5. Altogether, that's like 5 minutes, man. He said 5 minutes got you 20 years in prison? He said 5 minutes. He said 5 minutes. He said, man, you know, and that's long. He said, that's a long time. He said, if you would have shot somebody, it'd have been like 1 minute. You probably could have lost your life for 1 minute because he said, mine ain't take that long. You see what I'm saying? He said, I stabbed the motherfucker, man. It wasn't even no, I don't know how long it was. It wasn't no minute. So I stabbed the motherfucker a couple times. He checked out. Wasn't even no minute, but 5 minutes. So I said, damn, he jumped back on the bed, kept doing his crossword puzzles. And it fucked me up for a while because I'm like, damn, I gave my life for 5 minutes. And I'm saying it to say to y'all, like, you'll be sitting up in the cell for the rest of your life about one move that lasted a minute. It only take 1 minute to shoot a gun.
Steve.
I'm take 1 minute. So I'm sitting there, I did 20 years in the joint for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is some bullshit. Could change your whole life forever. And like, if you out there, I'm gonna just say this to the people that want to hear it. Cause you know, you got a lot of dudes out there, y'all real niggas. This ain't for you, cause you probably don't want to hear this shit, OG tripping. But for those that's not sure about the direction you want to go and you loving your life and you just like, you feel as though you got to be making some moves or doing some shit that's outside of yourself in order to be accepted with whoever you dealing with right now, I'm talking to you. It's 5 minutes versus your life? 1 minute? Is it worth? If it is, that's your thing. But if it ain't, you got to reroute. You got to you got to restructure your whole route, whatever direction you're going on.
I wanted to share that with you guys, man, because this right here resonated. That right there, it resonated, man. And I appreciate you guys bearing with me while I pulled that up. But so many of our young people out there, you know, Wallow just said it, man. 5 minutes cost him 20 years of his life. 5 minutes cost him 20 years of his life. 5 minutes, man. This young man, Carmelo Anthony. That conflict might have been a 2, 3, 4 minute conflict that could potentially get him the death penalty. He's in Texas. They have the death penalty. Just hearing about this story, man, that particular clip from Wallow, man, it resonated with me. It resonated with me big time. Hearing this story, I had heard that story from Wallow, and that's from D. That's from $1 Million Worth of Game with Wallow, and this is way back in the day when they very first started. They kind of got a little Hollywood now, but that story right there, when I heard that, I was like, man, how many brothers are in prison right now for the rest of their lives? 25 years, 30 years for something that took them 2, 3, 4 minutes. This young man is either going to get the death penalty or he's going to be in prison for the remainder of his life for a 3 to 4 minute altercation that he could have just walked away from. Shout out to Jeff from It's Not Your Fault with the $11 super chat. He says, I do a lot of prison recovery work, and the looks on the inmates' faces that think this is all they can accomplish breaks my heart. Starts in the home, ends in a jail cell. You're absolutely right, man. You are absolutely right. They are charging him as an adult, Christy. They are charging him as an adult. He's 17. In most states at 17, they're going to charge you as an adult. In most states. What up, Dre? How you doing, brother? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. But this young man, a probably 3 to 5 minute altercation is going to cost him the rest of his life, or is going to cost him his life. Yeah, Eric, you're probably right. I mean, it is Texas though. So Texas, they might operate a little differently. But yeah, you're right. But he is being charged as an adult. And the crazy thing is that what we do know, and this is how messed up our country is right now, and it's just so unfortunate because if the roles had been reversed, if a white kid had stabbed a black student over, seating at a track meet, you guys know that the headlines would be everywhere. And that's what's so unfortunate, in this nation, is that legacy media will only run with situations that they can use to further their agenda. It would have been everywhere, man. You know it, I know it, everyone knows it. We'd be hearing about privilege, entitlement, systemic racism, you name it. We'd be hearing it all. The story, it would dominate cable news for weeks. Ben Crump, Al Sharpton, all the civil rights activists, all of them, they would have been out there grandstanding. They all would have come out the woodworks, man. NAACP'd be talking. You guys know it, man. Y'all know I'm not lying. But because this kid, Austin, is a white kid, and the alleged perpetrator is a black kid, I mean, it's radio silence, from our friends over at Legacy Media. And you guys know why. It's because the facts don't serve the narrative. And yet the pain in this story is just as real. The blood spilled is just as red. And it's just unfortunate because, a good young man, has lost his life. And I don't want to demonize, young Carmelo Anthony. He did what he did. It was heinous. He made a very, very poor choice, a very, very reckless decision. And he lost his life. And he's being charged with this crime as an adult. And some of the classmates out there said that they weren't surprised that he got violent. They were shocked that he did what he did, but they were not surprised that a conflict with him involved got violent. They were not surprised by the aggression, but they were surprised by what he did. And now the young man, Carmelo, is alleging self-defense. That's what he's saying. Saying this is an act of self-defense. We'll see how that works out, because typically you don't get self-defense. Self-defense should be matched equally. Weapon to weapon, hand-to-hand combat to hand-to-hand combat. This wouldn't even have been a thing had he decided not to pull the knife and let's just box it out, if he felt like that's what he needed to do. It's really sad, man.
Of a student athlete at a track meet in Frisco.
Yeah, police say the suspect told them, "I did it," admitting to having an argument with the victim before that tragic incident.
Brittany Moncrief is in Frisco. Brittany, the family is now reacting to these new details.
That's right, Kara. As anyone could imagine, these last 2 days have really taken a toll on 17-year-old Anthony Metcalf's family and the entire Frisco community. That arrest affidavit says that 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony admitted to stabbing Metcalf during a UIL track meet at Kirkendall Stadium on Wednesday. And it also says that he reportedly told police that he was defending himself. But Metcalf's family tells us that's no excuse.
The truth will come out.
there were too many people that were there that saw what happened. My own son told me what happened.
And a witness told police Anthony, who attends Centennial High School, was sitting under Memorial High School's tent. That's the school Metcalf attends. That's when a witness says Metcalf told Anthony he would need to move from under his team's tent. The witness says Anthony then reached in his bag and said, "Touch me and see what happens." The witness telling police Metcalf grabbed Anthony, and Anthony pulled out a knife, stabbing Metcalf in the chest. According to the affidavit, the arresting officer found Anthony, who said, quote, "I was protecting myself," and that officer also noticed blood on Anthony's finger. It goes on to say when the arresting officer told other police he had the alleged suspect, Anthony reportedly said, "I'm not alleged, I did it." Documents also show that Anthony asked police if the victim was going to be okay. Now, Anthony is being held at Collin County Jail on a $1 million bond. He's charged with first-degree murder. Now, that UIL track meet has been postponed to Monday at Little Elm High School.
Man, this is just so sad. It really is, man. A lot of you guys may not know, but I coached football for, I don't know, 12, 13 years or so. And, those kids, they're under your care. They're under your guidance, while you have them. I can, just hearing the story. Now, the truth will come out. The truth will come out. We're going to start the call in here in a little bit. And I'm going to link it up here in the chat here in a second. Give me one moment. That story is just sickening, man. It really is. The crazy thing is that, maybe I shouldn't say crazy thing, but, here's where the media, really upsets me. Makes me sick, man. Carmelo Anthony is claiming self-defense over a push, over being told to sit with his own team. Now, since when is being told to move seats a license to do what he did? You guys already know the next play in the handbook. They're going to say that he was provoked, that he felt threatened. They're going to say all of that. They're going to talk about all of that. We already know. We already know. And they're going to say that he had dreams, and he may very much may have had dreams. But so did this young man, Austin. And it's just so unfortunate because we have one young man who is being buried and another young man who is going to be buried behind concrete. And let me be clear, man, a push, a grab, it's not a weapon, especially at a school function. A push doesn't give you the grounds to pull a knife and stab someone in the chest. It just doesn't. This wasn't even a fight. You have one young man dead and another young man is to blame. I mean, there's no gray area here. There's no gray area. Carmelo, he's being charged as an adult. And in my opinion, it's the right call. He shouldn't be treated like some misguided child. He's 17. You know, he brought a knife. He used it. He knew he had it. And that may have emboldened him a little bit because he knew he had a weapon. And Nina, you're absolutely right. 2 families destroyed for something so senseless that easily could have been avoided. Easily could have been avoided. This young man brought a knife, and honestly, it almost seems like, and I don't want to put any words in his mouth, and I don't want to, speculate on his actions, but he provoked the situation, it seems like. And now we have 2 families destroyed. And we expect that the justice system will do its job. No early releases, no soft sentences. Typically, when you get the first degree, unless he pleads to something else and they allow him to plead to something else, which I don't know, maybe they probably won't. But the first degree, typically the minimum is life. That's it. Minimum's life, maximum is the death penalty. I mean, if there was ever a case where accountability mattered, this right here is it. This young man, Austin, man, he had a future. He earned it, and it was stolen from him over something so stupid, so trivial, that I am for sure that the young man, Carmelo, he may not see it now. I'm sure he's in his mind. He may not say it out loud, but in his mind, he's like, what did I just do? What did I just do? And this story, man, it didn't go viral because, it didn't fit the narrative. But that doesn't make it any less heartbreaking or any less important. We got to do better, man. We got to do better in this society, man. We have to do better. We got to do better at raising kids with respect. And this isn't a race thing. This is an American thing, because I've seen kids of all shades cutting up and acting a daggone fool. We got to do better at raising kids with respect. And, at holding violent behavior accountable early on and protecting the ones who are trying to do things right. We do. My condolences to his family, to his brother, to those students at that high school that are going to have to deal with this. When something like this happens, the kids, people don't think about this, but those kids that were in that tent, those kids that know him, that know both of these kids, this is something that they're going to deal with. They're going to live with this for the rest of their lives. Some of these kids are going to need some counseling. Some of these kids, this is a traumatic situation. And some of these kids could potentially suffer from some post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD, behind this incident. So I ask that, hey, we just keep everybody lifted up in prayer, everybody that's involved, in this. Everybody. Let me bring my guy, Eric Smith, in. What's going on, Eric? How you doing today, brother? Appreciate you pulling up this morning.
Good. Good morning. It's me again. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. It's just such a sad story, man, just to hear this. And
yeah,
it's just really sad, especially for me. I have young children, not young children, but young men, young adult men. And, it's just so unfortunate on both sides, both the young man who lost his life. I mean, it's tragic. I couldn't even imagine being a parent and you gotta, you're at a funeral home trying to figure out a casket, to put your son in. I couldn't even imagine that. On the flip side of that, your kid made a poor choice, a decision, and committed a heinous act that he's not going to be able to take back, and he's going to have to suffer the consequences for.
Right.
I mean, it's just unfortunate.
That actually kind of brings up a question too. I'm kind of wondering. So it sounds like he does have a father, but I'm kind of wondering, but was his father actually in his life, so to speak? You know, there's like having a father, but then like, was his father actually in his life? I'm kind of wondering about that. And then, do you think, like, just out of curiosity, do you think Carmelo, that was his name, right? Carmelo. Do you think maybe the reason he was sitting in the other team section is like maybe there was some girl that he liked or something like that? Was there? I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing different. Like, I'm just trying to figure out like what would be going on in a. Because I mean, we were all 17 once, but I mean, I kind of forgot what it was like to be 17. But I'm trying to think like what would be goofy things that I would do when I was 17. You know, to do goofy stuff like that. Like maybe, if there was somebody I was interested in, or maybe there was a friend from another school that I wanted to talk to. Yeah, maybe I would go sneak over in the other team section and go talk with that friend or something like that. You know, I'm just kind of curious. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't have answers to those questions. I think a lot of people have a lot of speculation, about why he even decided to go over there. There were some things that came out via social media where, there was a young lady involved and, maybe there was a cell phone involved. But I mean, again, this is just all speculation.
Okay.
And I'm a firm believer that I don't think anyone should put their hands on anyone. Keep your hands to yourself.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And not to absolve, Carmelo. But if it is true that this man decided to take it upon himself, this young man decided to take it upon himself and make himself security, and you're going to forcefully escort someone out, he didn't necessarily have the right to do that. You should keep your hands to yourself. But
that's kind of wild too. Yeah, that's kind of wild too. And then the knife thing, like, I mean, the kid, like I was commenting in the comments, and somebody was saying, because I was asking about the knife, and somebody was like, "Who cares?" Like somebody lost their life, but I mean, like I've talked about before how my dad was in the Navy, but I kind of lived all over the place. And one of the places was Wyoming and eastern Montana. So it was very common for people to walk around with like a common pocket knife. So I'm kind of wondering, like, what kind of knife was it? Like that it would be able to make it through security? Was it like a little common pocket knife?
Well, they may not have had security. A lot of times, you go to a high school event, there's no metal detectors or anything along those lines outside of those, especially the outdoor events, especially going into a stadium or something like that. There's typically no metal detectors that you got to walk through. So,
well, that's true.
I mean, they
too.
have rules and laws that, hey, you're not allowed to have those things, within a certain on school property, but
yeah,
they're not searching people and checking people, at least in most places. There are some places maybe up north where they do it. But
Yeah, no, and that's true too. Like, well, when I used to go to football games in Howard, I mean, they didn't go through our bags and check our bags or check to see if we brought any weapons or anything like that at the games either. I think the only time I ever get searched is if I got to go, into one of the government buildings. I got to, get fingerprints for a job or something like that at the courthouse. That's where they search my bag and
that's
all that
pretty
kind
much
of
it.
stuff. That's pretty much
that's
it.
pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you go to a pro game or something like that, you're going to a Wizards game, or if you're going to probably some of the upper echelon high school, not high school, but college games, things of that nature, you're probably going to go through a metal detector. But for a high school game, I mean, the likelihood of them having in Frisco, Texas, in a fairly, safe part of the country, the likelihood of them having metal detectors there is, I'd say, slim to none. So they probably didn't have it, but appreciate you pulling up, Eric. Let me get C. Burgie in, but thank you, man. I appreciate you supporting and appreciate you pulling up, man. Take care. Enjoy the weekend, man.
You too. See ya.
All right. We're going to get Miss C. Is it C. Burgie? Let's get her up in there. How you doing today?
Hey there. It is C. Burgie.
C. Burgie. Got you. Okay. I wasn't for sure. I wasn't for sure if it was Burgie or Burgie. But let us know where you are tuning in or broadcasting from, and what kind of question, or if you have a statement.
I'm in Indiana.
Indiana. Outstanding.
I just wanted to talk about the situation with the boy.
Okay. Go for it. What do you have for us?
I just feel really bad, and I do agree about him being charged as an adult. I feel like he took the knife for a purpose. He was angry. He sat in the other team's section, and somebody brought up, where were the coaches? And that's what I'm curious about. Where was the boys where was the what was his name? Anthony?
Okay. Yeah, Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo. Yeah, where was Carmelo's coach when he was sitting in the wrong section? Where was his coach? And why didn't the Twins go get their coach to help deal with the situation? Why were they trying to deal with it alone? Where were the coaches in the situation?
Well, typically when you're coaching, especially high school, typically if it's track, they're normally down on the field or on the track, coaching up those players that are the participants. So it makes sense that there wasn't any coaches. Maybe sometimes there might be a team mom, there might be a trainer that's involved in there to kind of just keep the peace, within the tent. Because sometimes kids can get a little raucous, but typically the coaches are going to be down there on the track and down there on the field coaching up, the active participants typically.
I understand. Okay.
And I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure if, Carmelo was an athlete or if he was a somebody that was just there to view the track meet. I'm not 100% sure. I hadn't heard one way or another on that. Not that it really matters, but I hadn't heard that either. So when people ask, hey, where was the coaches? He may not have been a part of the team. He could have just been there to be a spectator.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Gotcha. Right. I never ran track myself, and I've never been a spectator of track either, so I wasn't.
Understood. All right. Well, Seaberg, I appreciate you pulling up. We got a couple other people to get to, but thank you very much for tuning in and pulling up this morning.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. You do the same. All right. Ken, if I got you twice, I'm not sure exactly which one to. Let's see. We'll use this one.
Oh my God, what's going on?
All right. What's going on, Kenneth? How you doing, man?
What's up, brother? How are you, man? How you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, man. I'm blessed, man. I cannot complain, at all. But let us know where you tuning in from, where you calling in from.
Man, out of Nashville, Tennessee, man. I'm actually at home working. Yeah, man.
All right. Well, appreciate you, man. What you got for us?
Man, so I just want to speak on the situation with the young men, right? So I am a father myself, right? I just turned 40 a couple of days ago, and my son is 16, right? So I let him know that, hey, be mindful and conscious of the decisions that you make because you will be held accountable for them, right?
Absolutely.
I had a couple of questions about that situation, right? So my first question was, that wasn't a football game, like that was like a track meet or something like that, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, track and field. Yeah, it was a track meet.
Okay, so my first question would be, me and you pretty much around the same age, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've been in instances to where we've actually was cool with a young lady at a different school or might be with the rival school or what have you. So he might have been sitting on that side to support her. Right. So then you have, right. So then you run into the scenario to where, the young man like, hey, well, you shouldn't be over here. And we get it. I get it. Emotion, cooler heads prevail. Right. But at some point, like, you can't necessarily tell a kid he can't sit on this side of the field because he's supporting someone else. Like that's kind of like contradicting, right? Like
I get that, but that's not what happened though. So what happened is that if you've been to the track meets, because everybody isn't competing at the same time, they put these tents up. So the guys that if you're not actively competing, each team has a section where they can go and sit at. And they both went to two separate schools. And the young man Carmelo decided that he was going to go and sit in the section under the tent with the athletes from that school. So
Makes sense.
It's a little different than just sitting on one side, and spectating. Because I understand where you were coming from with it, but that wasn't the case. He came and decided that he was going to sit with that particular team. Now, I did hear on social media as well that there was a young lady in the middle of this in some shape, way, form, or fashion. I did hear that. I don't know how true it is because you hear all kinds of things on social media. So when I first started talking about this, I did bring up some of the things that I was able to find in reference to this situation, that there could have been a young lady involved. There could have been, a phone involved. And then, just the situation of Carmelo coming and sitting in their section, in their tent. And that was the team section. And each team, if you've ever been to a track meet, each team has its own section where they kind of all congregate. That's not to say that they can't walk around and converse with each other, but they do have their own little section. But
okay, so that's where I was kind of getting confused at, right? I was just trying to get the understanding of, hey, exactly what was going on. But no, that makes sense, right? So I guess when you put it that way, like I said, because I've seen it in professional games to where you have players, you walking on the other sideline, hearing other people saying something, they pushing them out of the group, like, man, dude, get from over here, right? So so now when you break it down that way, it makes sense. Like I think I may have misinterpreted it the wrong way, but when you put it that way, it all makes sense now. So
yeah. It's unfortunate, man. I mean, it really is. It's unfortunate. It is. And that's why I wanted to show that video of Wallow, and I've had these conversations because I have two young men as well. My oldest is 23. My youngest just graduated high school last year. He's 18. And I've had these conversations, with them. One, everything ain't worth fighting over because pride has gotten many of people locked up or placed in prisons, or caskets. Pride. You know what I'm saying? Everything ain't worth fighting over. If you can walk away, walk away. So even for the young man, Austin, and it is so unfortunate that he lost his life, but he could have easily walked away.
And it's a mindset too. It's a mindset too, right?
Exactly.
It's all about the people that you have around you who's telling you, hey, well, like I said, like I'm pretty sure you tell your boys the same way as I tell my son, like, hey, be mindful of the things that you do because you're going to be held accountable for them. Mama can't hold your hand no more. I can't come and pick you. See what I'm saying? Like I can't come and pick you up and oh, he won't do this again. No, you're going to be held accountable for this as if you were a grown man. So you need to be mindful of what it is that you do. So man, that's just my 2 cents on it.
Well,
that's my perspective.
And you and I, we're about the same age. They started charging people at adults when I was in high school. You know what I'm saying? When I was in high school, they say, hey, at 17, you are going to be charged as an adult. And that happened when I was in high school. And I remember getting that talk like, hey, you go out here and act a fool if you want to. You're not going to. You're not going to juvie. You going to the big folk jail. And it's just unfortunate, man, because this young man, he's probably looking at it now, and he's probably for sure going to look at this 5-10 years from now and say, man, I could have walked away. Man, 2-3 minutes of a poor choice cost me my entire life.
Man, I just want to send love to his family, man. Send love to the family of the young man that lost the young man. Like I said, right now we in trying times, bro.
We are.
Everybody is going back and forth, going at each other, man. You got Trump out here doing his thing, which I am a Trump supporter. So yes, indeed. But like I said, man, when you look at the atmosphere of everything that's going on right now, the best thing right now is that's what made me find your channel. And I've been following your content for like the last 2 weeks, dude. And I've been locked in each and every day. So when you shout me out, I was like, man, you know what? This would be my first time sending a super chat. Let me send it to Brody. You dig what I'm saying? So, man, hey, peace and blessings, brother. I appreciate you, man. And I'm going to just continue to keep watching your content, bro. Just keep doing your thing, bro.
Man, I appreciate that, man. God bless you, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Take care. All right, let me get EDH in here, man. What's going on, EDH? Coaster, how you doing this morning, brother? Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you
all
hear
right.
me?
Appreciate you
can hear
pulling
me?
up.
All
yes,
right.
we can hear you. We can all hear you.
All right, this is going to be fun. I don't know what to
Outstanding.
talk about, man. I've been asking chat. Nobody knows what to say. What are we supposed to talk about? Come on.
Well, whatever you whatever's on your mind. If you got a question or if you wanted to speak on anything that we discussed today, or anything that was discussed throughout the week, I'd love to hear it.
Man, dude, there's just it's never ending. I mean, it's like day after day. It's just nonstop. You just can't stop the content. It's insanity. That's all I have to say on that. I just man, this is really cool. I mean, we've never seen this before. Like, gosh, this is just awesome, isn't it? Like, what do you think?
What in reference to what?
Like, as fast as everything is moving right now, we've never seen anything like this before. Like, as far as the president goes, doing things, getting things done, like super fast. You know what I mean? Like, this is exciting. And I just can't get over it.
You know what? And I know a lot of people are in shock. And a lot of it has to do with Trump came in with the shock and awe. But people got to understand that he had 4 years to plan, plot, and strategize on how he would do if he gets back in office, which is a lot different than the first time around. And honestly, I don't think he had a full understanding of what he was getting himself into the first time around. And he ended up listening to a lot of the quote unquote Washington insiders. He hired the wrong people. He hired people that wasn't on his team, that would not, push or be 100% with his agenda. And honestly, and I've said this on the channel, and people in the chat, they probably could, they know I'm telling the truth. Honestly, one of the best things that could have happened is the fact that President Trump lost in 2020, because we got a chance to see how bad these Democrats actually are. We got a chance to see all the things that he said that they wanted to do, they actually did. When he's told the people that, hey, they're going to open the border up, they are going to cause massive inflation. A lot of the things that happened, President Trump said that would happen. On the flip side of that, during the campaign, while he was on the campaign trail, everything that he is doing are all the things that he said that he would do. And honestly, I think it's got a lot of people shook and shocked, because he's got to be one of the first politicians to not only campaign on things, but actually get in office and follow through. Most people talk a good game, but they don't actually follow through. He is about his business, and everything that he said he would do, he is attempting to do. And I appreciate it a lot. I really do.
Well, yeah, I agree with that completely. I mean, yeah, you kind of just you can you my thing is, oh, there it goes. I can't tell if it's working or not. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just too nervous.
No
I
worries.
don't even know what to talk
No
about.
worries.
Sorry.
No worries.
I'm really dude. All right. I'll try some other time. My bad,
no
dude.
worries, man. But I do appreciate you. I appreciate your contribution to the chat. Appreciate you supporting the channel, and just I definitely appreciate that, man. And thank you for pulling up, man. Hey, everybody can't do this. That's why when people ask me,
I'm nervous.
A lot of people ask me, like, man, you get up there and you do this, every day, hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes. And I'm like,
I don't know how you do it, man. Public speaking.
And people, people are like, oh man, this is it's kind of tough. And here you are up here for a couple minutes.
I don't like it. I tried it. I don't like it. I don't like it even a little bit. See you, dude.
All right, man. Take care, man.
Yeah.
But to answer EDH's question, it is entirely too early to say if it will or will not work. It's too early. And real fast, while I got it, I want to say shout out to Pam for the support. Thank you for buying me a coffee. Appreciate you with the $10 buy me a coffee. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for supporting me. I really, really do. I really do. And shout out to EDH, man. I know he's a little nervous, but shout out to him for being willing to pull up and being willing to come up. We've been trying to get Nina up here for a little bit, and she still won't. Hey, it's all family in here. It's all family in here, Nina. It's all family. It's all love. Nobody is going to clown you or talk trash about you. Nobody's going to do it. Nobody's going to do it. It's all good. It is all good. There was a time that, I used to get a little nervous, jumping up here and doing this and going live. There was a time. Now, I don't really care. It ain't that big of a deal. You get up here and say what you got to say. Get up here and do what you got to do. Say what you got to say. It's all good. But one of these days, Nina, we got to get you to pull up. I want to make sure that we give, show some love to NPO Creations and ask you some questions and give you an opportunity to, share folks, share with the good people in the chat, your products and the things that you have to offer. Like I said, you don't have to turn your camera on. You can do what EDH did. You don't have to turn your camera on. And at that point, man, just act like, don't even turn the TV off or whatever you're watching this thing on. Now we just having a conversation on the phone. We're just having a conversation on the phone. That's it. That's it. But it is too early to really see if this is going to work. But I will say this. We have to do something. We have to try something. And I appreciate President Trump trying something other than let's just raise the taxes on the American people. Other than that, I'm really sick and tired of the only solution that these politicians have is to raise taxes on the American people. Or raise, add in all these, regulations, or, hey, let's increase the fines and let's increase, what it costs to do X, Y, and Z. Seriously. We have to try something else. You have a president saying that, hey, we did this before in this country. We did this before. Up to 1913, we received all our money via tariffs. This isn't like, people act like this is something that has never been done before. And what we do know is that increasing the taxes on the American people, it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. But I appreciate those that pulled up today. That was awesome, man. We had a call-in show and we actually had people pull up. Shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to you guys pulling up and not being nervous. Shout out to EDH for giving it a try. Hey, if you do pull up, this is your opportunity to see if you want to do this. I know there's a good amount of you guys that, have maybe joined Van's course or bought his course and joined and say, hey, I can do this. This is an opportunity to see if you can. Oh, man. But I appreciate you guys pulling up this morning. Appreciate those that supported the chat financially. I definitely appreciate you guys in the chat, man. Appreciate the Blues. Shout out to the Blues. Renee Suzanne, B, T.A. Caskey, Zephyr K9. Shout out to you all. If there's anybody that would like to be in mine, shoot me an email. Send it to admin_wise@proton.me. That is the probably the best way to get a hold of me. Shout out to Regina as well, West Virginia Wire, keeping things civil in the chat. The week has flown by. The week has flown by. Here we are. It's already Friday. Unbelievable. It really is, man. It seems like it was just yesterday was Monday. But I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Stay blessed. I'll catch up with you guys on Monday morning. I'm so looking forward to it. 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Thankfully, we were able to get some people in so we didn't have to end on a somber note. But I do want to send, my thoughts and prayers, out to the Metcalf family, out to the Memorial High School family, out there in Texas. A lot of those kids, man, they're going to deal with this and they're going to suffer from this tragedy for a long time. So my thoughts and prayers, to all of those youngins involved. And, as always, man, I appreciate you guys supporting me and keep God first in your life. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
Vibe so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp,